During my father's funeral, my brother attempted to take my business right before the whole family. What on earth are you doing in my bed? Jonathan Mercer's voice pierced the silence, sharp and jarring. He lingered in the doorway of the master bedroom, his tall frame tense with fury, anguish etched into every sharp contour of his face. Rainwater cascaded from his coat, yet he remained oblivious. His gaze was fixed solely on the woman in his bed, Sophia Carter. She bolted upright from the mattress, heart racing, eyes wide not with guilt, but with disbelief. The twin boys, Lucas and Noah, lay curled beside her, finally asleep, their faces serene, breaths deep. In Lucas's embrace, the teddy bear mirrored the rise and fall of his breath. "I can explain," Maya whispered, her voice barely above a breath. Careful not to disturb the boys. Her hands rose gently, serene, inviting. Fear gripped them. Noah broke down in tears. Lucas felt the warm trickle of blood from his nose. Edward cut her off. His hand descended swiftly, a sharp sound reverberating through the room as it met her cheek. Maya stumbled backward, breathless, her hand darting to her face. Silence enveloped her. No cries, no words. Her gaze pierced his, shock eclipsing even the rage. "I don't want to hear your excuses," Edward snarled. "You're out. Leave my home, immediately." She froze, hand against her cheek, struggling to catch her breath. When her voice emerged, it was a hushed murmur, barely audible. "They pleaded for me to stay. I remained, for they were at last serene, at last secure. Leave, now." Maya looked down at the boys, lost in a deep, serene slumber. As if the shadows that tormented them had finally vanished, she bent down softly, pressing her lips to the crown of Noah's head, then to Lucas's. Silence speaks volumes. She left the bed, shoes clutched tightly, and brushed past Edward in silence. He let her go. He remained silent. As Maya stepped down the stairs, Mrs. Thompson's gaze snapped to her. The crimson stain on her cheek whispered secrets untold. The older woman's eyes flared with disbelief. Maya remained silent. The rain had faded to a gentle drizzle. Maya entered the gray afternoon, clutching her coat, and moved toward the gate. Back upstairs, Edward stood in the master bedroom, his breath quick and heavy. He glanced at the bed once more, tension coiling in his jaw, and then it hit hard. Silence envelops. He edged nearer. Lucas's brow was untroubled. No tossing, no whispers, no cold sweat. Noah's thumb lingered in his mouth, while his other hand lay motionless on the blanket, a picture of calmness. They were asleep, not from drugs, not from tears, just slumbering. His throat constricted. 14 nannies, healers, minutes of chaos and despair. And yet, Maya, this quiet stranger, had done what none could, and he had pierced her heart. He collapsed onto the bed's edge, his head buried in his hands. Shame seeped into his chest, swirling and darkening like ink in water. A folded note rested on the nightstand. He unveiled it. "If you can't be there for them, at least don't drive away those who will be." It remained unsigned. He read it twice, then a third time. His reflection in the nearby mirror stared back. A man forged by sorrow, suffocating in restraint. Gasping for sound, Mrs. Thompson stood at the end of the hall, her gaze fixed and unwavering. "Sir," she whispered. "She didn't touch anything in here. She only brought them in when the little one had a nosebleed." Silence lingered. She lingered, compelled by their plea. "That's it. They never wanted me. No one else was needed. Only her." Edward's gaze lifted, shadows swirling in his eyes, a mix of anger and a deeper, haunting regret. As the gate creaked shut, silence enveloped the Hawthorne house for the first time in months, not filled with grief or rage, but with a profound peace, the kind Maya had long abandoned. The house was silent, an unsettling stillness, unlike the gentle whisper of falling snow or the tender rustle of worn pages turning in a cherished book. It felt wrong, hollow, and unfinished, like an unanswered question lingering in the air. Jonathan Mercer sat in his study, the glass of scotch untouched, the note from Maya lying on the desk, a silent verdict weighing heavily in the air. If you can't be there for them, then don't drive away those who will be. He had devoured it 7 times. Dusk enveloped the estate, a heavy quilt settling in, as the wind whispered against the windows. Inside, the twins remained in deep slumber, unaware of the storm they had just weathered. Unaware that the one soul they had let into their delicate existence was now lost to them. Edward sank into his leather chair, fingers pressing against his temples, a storm brewing within. His hand throbbed, the memory of the slap lingering like a shadow on his skin. It was never in his thoughts. He was not who he believed himself to be. And yet it had come to pass. A fleeting surge of rage, ignited by sorrow, and countless silent disappointments. He had struck a woman, and not just any woman. He rose abruptly and ascended the stairs. The hallway outside the boys' bedroom carried a whisper of lavender and the embrace of warm cotton. A wooden stool lingered in the shadows, waiting. Maya's sketchbook lay atop the pile, closed tightly, as if she intended it to be found. He grasped it tightly. Within lay raw sketches, unrefined yet brimming with emotion. 2 boys clasping hands under the shade of a tree, a towering house, its countless windows staring blankly into the void. A figure perched among the boys, arms extended like wings. A brief yet powerful statement below, the one who remains. He let out a deep breath. Noah stirred in the nursery. Edward glanced in. The boy turned, yet remained in slumber. Peaceful dreams, not a single tear. He shut the door gently. As Edward stepped into the kitchen, Mrs. Thompson's hands moved deftly, folding napkins with quiet precision. She glanced upward, her body stiffening in shock. His gaze held a weight that urged her to set the linen down. "She's gone," he stated flatly. "I know," she said. "I made a mistake," he murmured, lost in thought. Mrs. Thompson's eyebrows shot up. Yet her voice remained calm. "Really? Is that so?" She lay beside me, a silent storm of emotions swirling in the air. "She was in your room," Keller insisted. "The boys refused to sleep anywhere but here. You were absent. I existed. I listened as they wept, pleading for her. She soothed them." He sealed his lips tight. "I sensed your thoughts," she whispered softly. "Yet, your mind was elsewhere." The silence hung heavy, a chasm of unspoken words. He stared at the chair where Maya had sat just yesterday at lunch. It seemed like an eternity. He spoke with urgency. "I must find her." Mrs. Thompson remained silent. "Begin with the return address on her letter." "Brooklyn," he acknowledged. Moving swiftly toward the hall, Maya sat alone on a bench outside the train station, the weight of solitude pressing down on her. Her cheeks pulsed under the chill. She remained dry-eyed, not when he screamed, not when he struck her. She walked past the front gates, her bag in hand, and the weight of unfinished work heavy in her chest. With her coat pulled close and fingers clutching a lukewarm cup of vending machine coffee, tears began to spill at last. She wiped them away in a flash, not out of shame, but because she had fought for years to break the habit of crying in public. A woman nearby observed her for a brief moment, then silently extended a tissue. Maya smiled gratefully, her gaze lifting to the vast night sky. It was darkly amusing. She had endured far more than a mere slap. Abandoned at 11, she lost her son to illness. Constantly told she was too soft for the tough cases, yet that house, those boys, awakened a part of her long forgotten. What are your thoughts on Maya? If you believe she's someone truly special, show your support with a like. Share where you're watching this video from. You never know, someone close by might be tuning in as well. The train arrived, exhaling a weary breath of brakes and steel. She rose slowly, uncertainty gnawing at her. Was she bored? The ticket lay hidden in her coat pocket. Philadelphia awaits, yet her heart remained in that white house in Westchester, where 2 boys were finally finding rest. She sank back into her seat. The following morning, Edward entered his son's room, balancing a tray of breakfast, scrambled eggs, toast smeared with strawberry jam, and a small bowl of fresh fruit. He was stepping into the unknown. Not a single moment since their mother passed away. Noah jolted awake, disoriented. "Where is Miss Maya?" Edward paused, uncertainty gripping him. Lucas jolted upright. "Has she left?" Edward's silent agreement spoke volumes. She had to go. Why not? Ellie's voice trembled. "She didn't do anything wrong." Lucas insisted, his gaze sharpening. "She saved us. You witnessed. We were great." Edward knelt by the bed, setting the tray on the nightstand. "It was never your fault. It belonged to me." Noah's gaze pierced through him. "Did you raise your voice at her?" Edward spoke the truth. "Absolutely. Did you hurt her?" Lucas's voice barely rose above a whisper. Edward's throat constricted. He nodded, a single, powerful gesture. Both boys averted their gazes. He remained there, kneeling on the carpet, for what felt like an eternity. "I'll make it right," he declared at last. "I will bring her back." No reply came, yet they listened. Later that day, Maya stepped onto a local bus, not a train, and made her way to the Bronx Women and Children's Shelter, a place where she once poured her heart into volunteering. She craved distance, a new viewpoint, a place to recall that life extended beyond a single home, even one that contained her soul. That afternoon, she led a writing class for a group of teen girls, most of whom were runaways. She shared tales not of Edward or his offspring, but of the strength in staying when others leave, of recognizing your value, even when it's overlooked by others. As she pedaled away from the Bronx Women and Children's Shelter, a note fluttered in the spokes of her bike. It came from someone else, but it said, "They wanted you. Both of them." Maya gazed at the sky, ablaze with orange hues. In that moment, her smile broke through. Jonathan Mercer barged in without a sound. He entered the old East Harlem Youth Center as the sun dipped below the trees, its fading light stretching long, golden shadows across the gym floor. The echo of his polished shoes on linoleum felt jarringly foreign, like a cello crashing into a punk rock anthem. Yet he stood firm. His gaze swept the room, landing on Maya at the far end, hunched over a whiteboard, erasing the jagged letters of a lesson. Teenage girls formed a loose circle, laughter and jokes filling the air, notebooks scattered on the floor. Maya laughed with them, her voice a fleeting whisper of joy, tinged with pain yet momentarily unshackled. He was unaware of the breath he had been holding until her gaze met his. The laughter faded, not by command, but as if Maya's stance had pulled back a veil, halting the show abruptly. She stood still. He approached, hands bare, no briefcase, no words of remorse, only the burden of his actions. "We need to talk," he said. The girls eyed him cautiously, one positioning herself protectively in front of Maya. "It's okay," Maya whispered, and the girl let go of her tension. Edward's eyes flicked to the whiteboard. A solitary line loomed above, heavy with meaning. "Your voice matters, even in its tremors." He faced Maya. "Can I?" She nodded, guiding him to the bench by the bus stop. The very one where she'd sat just yesterday, coffee in hand, tears lurking at the edges of her eyes. "I was wrong," he admitted without hesitation. "I condemned you. I acted before hearing. And I laid my hands upon you. I will carry that regret forever." Maya remained silent. "I found you in my space, in my bed." He pressed on, and I allowed fear to drown out the truth. It was not merely unjust. It was heartless. "You didn't believe me," she said. Her voice carried no anger, only weariness. "Even after your sons placed their trust in me." "I understand," he replied. She averted her gaze. "You can't just re-enter my life now that you've seen the truth." "I'm not here to redeem myself," he stated. "I'm here for you, not for a nanny. Just you." Maya's gaze turned tender. "How are they holding up?" "Silence," I confessed. "Silence suffocates." Her head dipped slightly. That's not tranquility. It's a scar that masks the pain, yet never truly mends. He stared at the ground, fingers intertwined between his knees. I need to make this right. It's beyond repair, she said. Recognize that your sons crave connection, not control. He let it out. Return to me. She hesitated, silence hanging heavy in the air. Instead, she inquired, if I agree, will I still be part of the team? He paused, uncertainty gripping him. You'll be the number. Claim any title your heart desires. Guide, companion. Her eyebrow arched in silent challenge. Companion? In their care, he clarified, the word hanging like a weight he hadn't meant to impose. Maya weighed her options. All right, she replied. However, I have stipulations. Absolutely. No cameras in the children's rooms, ever. He blinked, a fleeting moment suspended in time. No one exists. She spoke of them. And they were there, just a heartbeat ago. A nanny once shared with me, his brow furrowed. They were destined for protection. They show the kids that privacy is a fleeting illusion. He nodded, a single, powerful gesture. She pressed on. They gather at the table for dinner. By your side. Silence the devices. No dealings. He paused, then gave a slight nod. She spoke again, her voice heavy with meaning. We redefine the rules of the house. United. Together. His gaze locked onto her. He whispered. There are 5. They're human beings, she answered. He barely smiled. But it was enough to stir something deep within. Is there more? She inhaled sharply. Absolutely. The moment you strike someone undeserving, I'm out for good. I'm gone for good. His expression shattered. Got it. She rose. I'll meet them at dawn. He rose as well. Care for a ride? She shook her head. A silent storm brewing within. I'll catch the bus. I need to wrap this up. He nodded. A silent agreement echoing in the air. Thank you, Maya. She hesitated. Hold your gratitude for now. We're beginning anew, Mr. Hawthorne. This time, I refused to tiptoe around. She pivoted, stepping back into the building, the whiteboard poised for her arrival. Edward lingered at the curb, his heart heavy as he watched her walk away. That night, he took it upon himself to clear the dinner table. He summoned his sons from upstairs. He sat there, a bowl of spaghetti in hand, fumbling through a bedtime story, mispronouncing names, his voice rigid and strained. They laughed at him, not with malice, but with raw honesty. In the quiet of their freshly made beds, Lucas leaned closer to Noah and whispered, She's coming back. How can you be certain? Noah inquired. As she uttered her farewell, Lucas responded by drawing the blanket tightly around himself. No one else ever will. The morning Maya came back to the Hawthorne estate. The sky glowed in delicate hues of peach and slate blue. Birds danced among the treetops. While the lawn sparkled with morning dew, she paused at the iron gates, her fingers clutching the straps of her worn canvas bag, a shield against the unknown. All appeared unchanged, yet everything felt profoundly different. Robert, the butler, blinked in shock before stepping aside, bowing slightly. Miss Williams, he uttered, almost in awe. Welcome home. Thank you, Maya replied, moving through the gleaming marble foyer, the towering chandeliers casting shadows in the silence that now felt heavy. Footsteps echoed from above, small, quick, and erratic. Suddenly, a cry pierced the silence. She has arrived. Noah burst up the staircase, arms wide, a beaming smile lighting up his face. Lucas trailed behind, moving slowly, yet his eyes sparkled with excitement as he clutched a sketchbook tightly. Maya dropped to her knees, arms outstretched, just as Noah fell into her embrace. Well, hello, she whispered, her laughter dancing through his curls. We made a welcome back sign, Lucas mumbled, shoving the sketchbook toward her. A shaky drawing captured her, the 2 boys, and a house crowned with a large heart. The words echoed. You stayed. Even when you left. Maya's throat constricted. That's stunning, my love. Thanks. Footsteps drew near, echoing with tension. Edward lingered at the foot of the stairs, clad in a gray sweater and jeans. A stark departure from his typical starched suits. He appeared as if he was genuinely striving, not merely putting on an act. Breakfast is ready, he announced. Maya stood, her fingers trembling as she smoothed her blouse. Great, we have guidelines to revise. In the kitchen, they huddled around the table, tension thick in the air. Silence surrounds me, a simple bowl of scrambled eggs, toast drizzled with honey, and a glass of fresh orange juice. Just me and this moment. Maya started, her notebook in hand. Let's dive into what it truly means to share this space, what's just, what's secure, and what transforms this house into a home. Lucas lifted his hand. Is it possible to play music while we bathe? Maya nodded, her heart racing. That makes sense, Noah added. Only if it's hidden. No broccoli. Edward let out a choked laugh. I might need some clarity on that. Maya's smile flickered like a fleeting spark. This goes beyond just vegetables. We'll maintain a list. It's all about limits. Her gaze locked onto Edward. For everyone. He nodded. A weight in his gaze. Got it. In the next hour, the boys furiously scribbled rules with crayons. Knock softly, no shouts as night falls, hugs are treasures to be requested, pancakes are sacred on Sundays, and one story to weave dreams before sleep. Maya penned her truth. Hear me out. Own your mistakes, and say you're sorry. Absolutely no cameras allowed, no exceptions. Edward inscribed a line with precision. Embrace forgiveness, even in the toughest moments. Once finished, Maya secured the paper to the refrigerator with 2 cheerful sun-shaped magnets. There, she declared, the new rules of the house. Later, as the boys laughed and played outside, Edward discovered Maya in the library, lost in a world of children's books. Everything's different now that you're not here, he said. Her eyes flicked upward. Perhaps they always had it within them, but never received the chance to shine. I've changed too, he said, his voice trembling. Her gaze remained fixed. I believe that. He moved in. Heart racing. Your actions spoke volumes. Remaining, departing, returning home. I never expected this much. Maya stood, her heart racing, as she placed the final book on the shelf. Perhaps, yet, it was their fate. I refuse to let your error become their burden to bear. He flinched, then nodded, a flicker of resolve in his eyes. I yearn for improvement. Begin by truly being here. Truly here, not only in moments of ease. His gaze fell, consumed by shame. Will they ever find it in their hearts to forgive me? Maya's heart melted. It's done. Children excel at that more than grown-ups. Yet, it must be earned, each day. That evening, Edward gently tucked the boys into bed. A bittersweet moment, since their mother had passed away. He stumbled through the storybook, each word a struggle. Maya lingered at the door, heart racing, as the boys laughed at his mispronunciations, corrected him, and begged for just one more page. In the darkness, Edward guided Maya to the front hallway. I was thinking, he said, regarding your words, on the outside looking in, about transcending limits. She wrapped her arms around herself, a quiet shield against the world. You're really not considering a promotion for me, are you? His smile was barely there, yet it held a world of unspoken emotions. I was ready to give you a voice. She tilted her head, a silent question hanging in the air. Help me create something extraordinary. Not only for them, but for all kids like them. Children in search of what was once theirs. Someone is here. Maya's eyes grew large with shock. Are you referring to a foundation? He nodded, a silent agreement hanging in the air. Something genuine. You lead it. I'll make it happen. Her gaze lingered on him, then she declared, "If we proceed, it will be on our terms. No spectacle. No more performative charity. Absolutely." Her hand reached out. "It's settled. Mr. Hawthorne." He trembled it. "Just call me Edward." Her smile lit up the room. "Okay, Edward." That night, as she approached the guest room, her own space now, no longer just a temporary bed, she hesitated outside the boys' room. A whisper from within. She returned. Noah whispered. "I told you," Lucas replied. Maya, softly leaning against the doorframe, murmured to herself, "I truly did." 3 weeks after Maya's return, the house vibrated with energy, no longer a hollow shell of silence. Breakfasts erupted with noise, bath times turned chaotic, and the boys, once fragile and distant, now flourished like wildflowers liberated from the grip of winter. The rules on the refrigerator bore the marks of countless eager fingers, their edges frayed from daily scrutiny. Edward, the steadfast patriarch, was reduced to folding tiny socks and awkwardly attempting to braid hair. Yet, some things remained stubbornly unchanged. Late one Friday night, after the boys had drifted into slumber and the staff had retreated to their rooms, Maya roamed the dimly lit halls. She frequently found herself doing this when the burden of memory became too heavy on her heart. The silence wrapped around her, allowing thoughts to flow and breaths to deepen. Yet tonight, an unsettling feeling lingered. The library door stood slightly open. A sliver of light broke through the crack. With a soft nudge, she opened it. Edward sat at the desk, shoulders hunched, phone gripped tightly in one hand, a nearly empty glass of scotch in the other. At first, she slipped past him unnoticed. "Unfortunate news?" she whispered. He recoiled, then looked up. "Maya, I apologize. I missed what you said." Just a breath away from the bourbon, I sensed something was off. He placed the glass down, throat tight with unspoken words. "Only opening an email." She lingered. At last, he pivoted the screen, revealing it to her gaze. Custody hearing. Motion filed. Maya's eyes fluttered. Hearing for custody? For the boys? He nodded. Tension etched in his jaw. Caroline's parents, a force of love and complexity, shaped her world in ways she never fully understood. The Hollingsworths. They sought temporary guardianship, asserting my unfitness. "Why?" he sneered. Sharp. Abandonment. Unstable emotions. Home turmoil. Maya's expression soured. The truth came to light. "Here's a glimpse of who I am," he whispered. "They've been watching." Anticipation hangs thick in the air. The boys are beginning to share their truths. "At last, we have found our footing. They seek to tear it from me." She took her seat opposite him. "Have they ever played a part in the boys' lives?" "Not since the funeral," he whispered. I was the one they pointed fingers at for Caroline's despair. They claimed I laid her to rest too soon. I prevented the boys from mourning as they should have. Perhaps they had a point after all. Maya remained silent, lost in thought. Should I take the stand? The transformations I've witnessed? What have I captured? Edward paused, uncertainty gripping him. "I'm not sure if that makes a difference, or spirals into chaos. Your existence will fuel their claims that I can't raise a child on my own." "Perhaps we shouldn't face them by ourselves," she declared with conviction. "Perhaps we reveal the true essence of family, the true essence of healing." Their gazes locked. "Would you really go that far? Face the judge? Is this really it?" Maya declared. "I'd do it for them. This isn't meant for you, beyond mere looks." To Lucas and Noah, he breathed out, a hint of relief washing over him. "Do you truly believe I can win?" She rose, approached the window, and gazed into the darkness, where the boys' nightlight flickered faintly in the distance. "Entering as the man who slapped me guarantees your defeat, but you will, if you leave as the man who said sorry, who transformed, who arrived." He nodded, a weighty silence hanging in the air. "I'll be there." The following morning, The house hummed with a tense anticipation. Maya immersed herself in the journal entries, capturing the twins' routines, their emotional journeys, and the moments shared with their father. She collected art projects, snapped pictures of the refrigerator rules, and printed a drawing Lucas had made, the four of them under a rainbow, hand in hand. He acted on instinct, creating what resonated deep within. Edward dialed his lawyer, urgency crackling in the air as he set an emergency meeting. This time, his orders transcended mere reputation or safeguarding assets. They fought to shield two boys who had endured enough pain. Maya sat with the twins under the oak tree at lunch, slicing their grilled cheese into triangles, captivated by their heated debate over which superhero would triumph in a race. Flash or Sonic? Must we really move in with Grandma and Grandpa Hollingsworth? Noah's voice broke the silence, a fragile whisper that hung in the air. Maya froze. What makes you curious about that? I heard Daddy on the phone, Lucas whispered. He is not liked. Maya pushed her plate away. Boys, no one is moving you without a struggle. I'm here to stay. But they have wealth, Lucas said, and they're, pale. Maya blinked, taken aback. What relevance does that hold? Lucas simply shrugged. They told me over the phone that Daddy's made mistakes, that you're just fam, not really family. Maya leaned in, her fingers cradling Noah's chin with tenderness. Listen closely. Families are forged in bonds deeper than blood or names. They are forged by those who remain, who battle for you in the toughest moments. Here, I stand, that binds us as one. Noah held her close, a tiny warmth in his embrace. Then you must win, he whispered, urgency lacing his words. Maya gazed at the house, where Edward lingered behind the window, his eyes fixed on them. He nodded slightly. They stood poised for battle. That night, Maya hunched over her desk in the guest room, fingers flying across the keys as she poured her heart into her court statement. It was simple, yet profoundly impactful. It was raw. She revealed the boys' fears upon her arrival. The screams, the emptiness, the desperate grasp for her hand, then the retreat from hope, and how, with time, laughter returned, sleep came back, and trust was rebuilt. At the bottom of the page, she penned, "Healing unfolds in jagged paths. It's chaotic. In that house, two little boys have started to mend their broken pieces. Not for wealth, not for lineage, but for the choice to remain." She printed it, tucked it into a folder, and set it on Edward's desk. As she turned to leave, her eyes caught the note he'd once cherished, her handwriting still clinging to the edge of the photo frame. If you can't be there for them, at least don't drive away those who will. She smiled, for at last, no one was being pushed away, and everyone chose to stay. The courthouse reeked of polished marble and tension. The grand columns stood as silent judges, morning sun streaming through tall windows and golden beams. Maya sat next to Edward in the waiting area, both clad in subdued colors, his tailored gray suit contrasting with her soft navy dress, the sleeves just long enough to conceal the faint scar on her wrist, a reminder of a night filled with the twins' nightmares. Edward stole a quick glance at her. Uneasy? Maya's eyes remained fixed ahead, focused solely on the uncontrollable. Across the room, the Hollingsworths, James and Eleanor, sat cloaked in their wealth. A barrier of opulence around them. Eleanor donned pearls, a crisp cream skirt suit, and a disapproving glare that could freeze time. James appeared unsteady, his hand trembling on the cane, eyes flickering to Edward, barely masking his disdain. Maya remained invisible to them, not a single glance her way. The door to courtroom 5 swung open, and a bailiff summoned them inside. Maya stood tall, her heart racing, and murmured, "This is for Lucas and Noah." The courtroom felt like ice, a stark contrast to the warmth of the hallway. A judge loomed behind a towering bench. An older woman with silver hair pulled into a tight bun, reading glasses dangling from a chain. Her nameplate declared, "Honorable." First stood Judith M. Templeton, Edward's lawyer, Mr. Kaplan. Serene, seasoned, with a touch of warmth that feels genuine. He recounted the abrupt departure of Caroline Hawthorne, the family's fight to mend after the devastation, and Edward's recent attempts to bring stability to their lives, emphasizing the ongoing therapy for the children, their academic advancements, and, crucially, the arrival of one Sophia Carter. Then, Eleanor took the stand, her polished voice quivering with fierce indignation. Our only desire is the very best for our grandchildren. What kind of man hires an unqualified stranger to raise his children and admits to striking her in his own home? Maya stood resolute, the sting of the memory igniting her cheek. And she isn't even family, Eleanor said, her voice strained. Judge Templeton arched an eyebrow. It's not Miss Williams on trial. Mrs. Hollingsworth, it's her very presence that matters, Eleanor pressed. Edward struggles to care for the boys, relying on outsiders to meet their emotional needs, temporary, unconnected, and unqualified. She lacks degrees and a license. The judge faced Maya. Miss Williams, will you answer? Maya rose and moved toward the bench. She had no notes. They were unnecessary. I may not hold a degree in child psychology, she said. But I've endured more pain than I would wish on anyone. I recognize the moment when children cease to feel safe. She hesitated, finding her voice. Upon my arrival, Lucas and Noah exchanged words only with one another. They lay awake, their trust shattered. Neither their father, nor the staff, nor even themselves. Slowly, they began to welcome me. Not due to any uniqueness, but simply because I chose to remain. I stayed, even when it hurt. I met their gaze and declared, "You matter." She locked eyes with Eleanor, then turned to James. "You claim I'm not fit for this. What makes someone worthy of loving children that aren't their own? To select them daily? Free from any ties? That's exactly what I've done. Not for the money, not for accolades. Yet, it had to be done." Judge Templeton leaned back, her face a mask of mystery. "Thank you, Miss Williams." Maya slipped back into her seat. Edward's fingers brushed against hers. A silent promise in the dim light. Then, Judge Templeton spoke to the courtroom. This court treats custody disputes with utmost seriousness, particularly when they arise from extended family members challenging a surviving parent. Upon examining the evidence and testimony, it becomes evident that Mr. Contrance Hawthorne, despite his missteps, has embarked on a profound journey of healing for his family. The boys flourish in his care, largely thanks to Miss Williams' unwavering support. Her eyes flicked to the Hollingsworths. The court finds no reason to take custody away from Mr. Hawthorne. Petitioned Aniet, Eleanor let out a sharp gasp, then rose in protest, the air thick with tension. James's hand gripped her wrist, a silent plea in the air. "Release it," he murmured. Maya remained motionless. Her heart raced wildly. Yet her expression stayed unyielding. In the crisp autumn chill, Edward faced her. "You rescued them." Once more, she shook her head, a silent storm brewing within. "The number you achieved. You rose. You lingered in the room." The boys sat in silence at home, oblivious to the fate that awaited them. Curled up on the couch, Robert's deep baritone brought the comic book to life. Noah's eyes locked onto Edward and Maya the moment they stepped through the door. "Did we triumph?" he inquired. Maya sank to her knees. "We did it." Lucas pulled her close, their bodies fitting together perfectly. "So, you're staying then?" Maya pressed her lips gently to the crown of his head. "I'm precisely where I'm meant to be." Ugh. That night, as the boys settled into their beds, Edward lingered in the doorway, captivated by Maya's soothing hums that wrapped around them like a gentle embrace. As she entered the hallway, he murmured, "I've never been good at expressing gratitude." "Then don't," she said, her voice steady yet laced with unspoken weight. "Keep coming back, no matter what." He nodded, his eyes filled with an unexpected tenderness. He whispered, "Tomorrow, We start laying the groundwork. I've got architects lined up. Her smile ignited a spark. What's the name? He hesitated. The Hawthorne Williams Healing Center. Maya blinked, stunned and unprepared. That's overwhelming. He spoke the truth. We created it together. She gazed beyond him, into the room where the boys now slumbered, untouched by fear. Perhaps, just perhaps, this was not the conclusion of anything. It was just the start. The inaugural board meeting of the Hawthorne Williams Center for Healing took place not in a sleek high-rise or an elegant ballroom, but in the warm embrace of the sunroom at the Hawthorne estate. The furniture clashed, the coffee was bitter, and a crayon drawing of a crooked tree, with words scrawled above, clung to the window, a testament to the twins' innocent chaos. Welcome home. Maya perched at the table's edge, fingers entwined around a ceramic mug, her gaze unwavering yet sharp. Edward stood beside her, clad in jeans and a button-up, sleeves casually rolled up. He chose not to seize control of the space. He absorbed every word, jotting down notes in a leather-bound pad, his pencil tapping softly as he pondered. 3 potential partners faced them. Dr. Linda Harris, a retired child therapist, Daniel Ortiz, an outreach coordinator from a local foster program, and Thomas Gallagher, a tech investor and one of Edward's oldest, yet most doubtful, friends. Let me get this straight, Lionel said, adjusting his wireframe glasses. You aim to create a haven for children who have faced trauma. Distinct from a clinic, a Bronx women and children's shelter, a school, or an adoption center. Maya's head dipped in agreement. Right on. It's a refuge, a connection, a path from their current reality to their dreams. Angela leaned in, captivated. Who is behind it? Maya whispered. People like me. Not merely credentialed experts, but survivors, mentors, and adults forged in the flames, ready to guide others through the journey. Joseph quickly jotted down a thought in his notebook. What's your strategy for managing funding, oversight, and liability? Edward interjected softly. Leave the logistics to us. Maya will guide the soul. Lionel's eyes flickered open. Will the name remain? Maya's smile flickered like a fleeting spark. Indeed, it remains. In just 1 hour, Angela made the pivotal decision to become the clinical advisor. Joseph extended his ties with local agencies, and after a heavy sigh and a whispered, "This is either brilliant or doomed," Lionel consented to finance the initial 6 months of programming. As the others departed, Maya lingered, determined to tidy up the remnants of their gathering. Edward lingered in the doorway, eyes fixed on her. You managed that with the poise of a true leader, he remarked. I taught middle schoolers for 3 years, she said, a smirk playing on her lips. Boardrooms hold no fear for me. He entered the room. You were incredible. Silence hung in the air as she hesitated. Her gaze was fixed on the drawing etched on the window. You know, she whispered, I moved 12 times while growing up. 12 distinct abodes. I never truly felt a connection to any of them. Edward's eyes locked onto hers. This is why it truly matters. Her head dipped in agreement. Children require a foundation. And wings. That afternoon, the twins joined Maya, eagerly unpacking boxes of art supplies for the center's makeshift setup in the East Wing. With precision, Lucas arranged the jars of paint, as Noah meticulously organized the brushes by size. Will we be allowed to come here as well? Noah inquired. This is your home, Maya whispered. Absolutely. You have the power to change lives for the better. Lucas gazed upward. Is it possible to instill our rules in them? Maya knelt beside him, her heart racing. That's brilliant. They spent the afternoon crafting vibrant new house rules, with Lucas sketching cheerful sons and Noah adding stick figure families. In the main house, Edward faced a challenging phone call. That morning, he had a conversation with his lawyer. Maya had no place in the decisions that shaped her own life. She lacked official custody, no documents to prove it. Yet as he gazed through the window at her kneeling beside his children, he felt a profound truth that transcended legality. She was family, No doubt. He grabbed the phone. Judge Templeton, please, it's Jonathan Mercer. You have to tell her. 2 weeks later, a large envelope arrived for Maya. A handwritten note from Edward arrived. Never again fleeting. Clarity at last. You've already claimed the title that's rightfully yours. Ugh. A formal appointment document lay inside, designating her as co-director of the foundation should he be absent. A notarized petition from Edward for shared guardianship of the twins was attached, co-signed by Maya. Maya read it thrice, her hands trembling with each pass. It came without warning. She never saw it coming. Yet, it was precisely what she had yearned for. Even in her ignorance, that night, she sat with Edward on the back porch, the boys peacefully asleep upstairs, a fire softly crackling in the outdoor hearth. You didn't have to do this, she whispered, her voice trembling. I understand, he said. Yet, I had to. She faced him. Why at this moment? They deserve to last, he insisted. And so do you. She fought back unexpected tears. I have my flaws. I'm not either, he replied. They just need real. They require a gift. Yet, you remain. Always. Her fingers brushed against his, a silent plea in the air. He stood resolute, unyielding. He clutched it tightly. A gentle breeze whispered through the trees above. For the first time in ages, Sophia Carter sensed a profound and sacred warmth envelop her. A feeling she believed was lost forever. Welcome home. Maya thought she had lost her mother forever. She never anticipated her arrival at the Hawthorne Estate's front gate on a Monday afternoon, clad in a worn denim jacket, her eyes heavy with unspoken words. Edward answered the call from the intercom. A woman stands before us, claims to be your mother, Patricia Carter. Maya stood still. Amidst the chaos of sorting educational materials for the center's open house posters, name tags, laminated behavior charts, her hands suddenly felt impossibly heavy, frozen in place. Is she really here? Maya whispered, her voice a fragile thread. Edward's nod was deliberate. I can let her go. Maya's gaze fixed on the stack of flashcards, her heart racing. Faith, let go, secure, words she had painstakingly shared with the twins for weeks. No, she whispered. Allow her entry. Lorraine lingered at the threshold, a figure poised for scrutiny. Her hands clenched the strap of her handbag, eyes flickering around the foyer, questioning what kind of daughter could create a life like this. Maya locked eyes, a blend of caution and resolve igniting between them. Hey, Mama, Lorraine said, her voice rough from cigarettes and the weight of years. I wasn't sure you'd remember me. Maya crossed her arms tightly. You never truly let it go. In the sunroom, Maya perched at one end of the couch, while Lorraine occupied the other, a chasm of years and anguish stretching between them. I heard your name, Lorraine began. A woman at church mentioned you made the news something about a center. Your face was in the paper. Maya remained silent. I was proud, Lorraine said quietly, sensing your reluctance to hear it. Maya tilted her head, curiosity flickering in her eyes. Why at this moment? Why now, after all this time? Lorraine's eyes glistened, and for an instant, Maya glimpsed a fracture in the facade. I'm unwell, and I admit it. I was mistaken. Maya was taken by surprise. I never knew how to be a mother, Lorraine whispered, her voice trembling. My pain consumed me. Your father shattered more than just furniture. And when he walked away, I was lost, unable to piece anything back together, not even you. Maya's throat tightened. Years passed as I waited, hoping you would come for me. I understand. Lorraine brushed her tears away. I let you down. The silence loomed, heavy and charged. Maya leaned in, her eyes sparkling. So, do you want to meet the boys? Lorraine's gaze snapped upward. Do you have kids? Not mine by blood, Maya declared, but they belong to me in every way that matters. Lorraine paused, uncertainty gripping her heart. Do they even want me? Maya gazed out the window, watching Lucas and Noah dart after each other with paper airplanes, their laughter soaring like a melody. "They don't see you," she whispered, "but I'll reveal the truth that you're fighting." That evening, Maya perched on the boys' bed, their questions swirling around her like a storm. "Is she really your mom?" "You can't be serious," Lucas exclaimed, disbelief etched on his face. "Why have we never crossed paths with her until now?" Noah spoke up. Maya spoke softly. "Sometimes, even grown-ups slip up. Major issues, the kind that linger and demand time to resolve." "Will she remain here?" Lucas whispered, gripping his stuffed tiger tightly. "Not right now," Maya said. "But she wants to explore a connection with you, gently, if that feels right for you." Noah's gaze was heavy with contemplation. Maya chuckled. "Only if she joins us for Uno, I'll tell her." In the kitchen, Edward lingered, anticipation thick in the air. "What happened?" "They're curious," Maya remarked, surprisingly open. He handed her a steaming cup of tea. "Are you all right?" Maya grasped the cup tightly, her heart racing. "I think, but I'm not certain. I want to give it a shot. For resolution, perhaps even solace." Edward's nod was a silent agreement, heavy with unspoken weight. "Your courage surpasses that of many." Her gaze met his. "You simplify everything." In the days that followed, Lorraine experienced the brief, calculated doses. Under the sprawling oak, she listened intently as the twins laid out the house rules, revealing the intricate feelings chart crafted by Maya. Initially, she appeared rigid, hesitant, yet, gradually, her defenses began to crumble. She shared tales from Maya's past, the cherished ones, the ones that lingered just beyond her memory. She brought cookies that fell apart, yet each bite echoed the warmth of Sunday mornings. She brought faded, worn photos, each one a treasure of moments Maya had missed or buried deep within. One evening, Maya and Lorraine huddled in the library, their fingers trembling over the pages of an old album. "You used to hum that same lullaby for the boys," Lorraine said. "At 3. You couldn't sleep without it." Maya blinked, startled by the flash of memory. "I believed I created that melody myself." "You failed to do so," you recalled it. Even in your forgetfulness, silence enveloped the room. With trembling hands, Lorraine dug into her bag and revealed a tiny box. A tarnished bracelet lay within, simple yet poignant, adorned with a bird-shaped charm. "I got this the moment you entered the world," she whispered, "yet it was never yours to have." Maya cradled it delicately, her fingers grazing the charm. "Why choose a bird?" "I always believed you'd soar one day. I had no idea how deep it went." Maya held back her tears. Not now. In the stillness of her room, the bracelet glimmering on her wrist, she surrendered to the tears as moonlight danced across the floor. Healing was never a final stop. 1,000 tiny choices led to the door swinging open once more, to attempt forgiveness, not only others, but also yourself. Perhaps that alone was sufficient. Fall crept in quietly, golden light stretching through the mornings, a chill brushing your skin as the sun dipped below the horizon. At the Hawthorne Williams Center, the air buzzed with anticipation as preparations for the first healing weekend retreat unfolded. Maya faced the whiteboard in the freshly updated community room, her hands moving swiftly with color-coded markers to outline the weekend schedule, as the boys quietly folded blankets nearby. Edward strode past, clipboard in hand, a grin lighting up his face. "Are you aware that these kids won't stick to a color-coded schedule?" Maya cast him a teasing look, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "They won't see the colors, but I will. It keeps my mind steady." "Ugh." He laughed, and for an instant, the weight of the world lifted, leaving only ease. Yet Maya understood that healing brought tension, as growth collided with the edges of past scars, and that friction was racing toward them. A phone call from Daniel Ortiz, their liaison with the local foster agency, set everything in motion. "Maya, there's a problem," he said. "What sort of complication?" "A girl named Brielle, just 16, has been shuffled through 5 homes in the last year, each ending in heartbreak. She's brilliant, fiercely intelligent, yet fiercely protective. She's rejecting therapy, avoiding group sessions, and now she's turning her back on the system entirely. Maya absorbed every word in silence. Joseph pressed on. Her social worker believes your center could be her final chance before she faces juvenile detention. Yet, she's unpredictable. I won't deceive you. This is a tale shrouded in shadows. Maya inhaled sharply. Get her here now. Brielle stepped in, a lone duffel bag in hand, combat boots echoing, and an impenetrable silence surrounding her. Her hair blazed in a fierce cobalt blue, arms crossed tightly over her chest, a barrier against the world. She remained silent during orientation, avoiding eye contact, and firmly asserted that she required no rescue from anyone. Noah, lurking in the shadows of the doorway, breathed a hushed whisper to Lucas. She seems capable of taking down Spider-Man. Maya chose a new path. That evening, as laughter echoed from the board games, Maya spotted Brielle in the art room's shadows, lost in a whirlwind of sketches, her pencil dancing across the page. Is it okay if I join you? Brielle shrugged, her gaze fixed elsewhere. Boundless freedom. Maya lingered in silence. What are you creating? Who are they? Maya tilted her head, curiosity flickering in her eyes. Is there someone I recognize? No one you could ever grasp. Her tone held no bitterness, only a profound distance. Maya's head dipped in agreement. That makes sense. They lingered in silence, the weight of unspoken words heavy in the air. Maya held back. Instead, she reached into her bag, pulled out a notepad, and began to sketch fervently beside her. Her lines lacked precision, her shading was awkward, yet the simple act of drawing alongside Brielle as equals resonated more profoundly than any counseling session. Brielle finally questioned, "Why are you doing this? Is this it? Or this hub? Everything?" Maya hesitated. I was the kid that left everyone puzzled. And someone decided to look beyond the surface. Brielle's eyes met hers. A moment charged with unspoken tension. A mere spark. But that's it. You get one shot, Brielle whispered, her voice heavy with urgency. I understand. In the days that followed, Brielle didn't become the perfect resident, but she did silence her curses at the dinner table. She participated in the group hike, lingering at the rear. On the third night, a sudden laugh escaped her. A spark of joy amidst the card game with Lucas and Edward. Maya saw it all, yet Edward sensed something more. Do you notice how her eyes are glued to you? He spoke one evening while they arranged linens in the storage room. Her doubts linger, Maya responded. She's taken, Edward said. Done. That's perilous. Maya dropped the towel, her heart racing. You believe I'm repeating the error I made with the twins. You must guard your heart, he murmured gently. Her head dipped in agreement. This job is about so much more. I understand, Edward replied. Yet, if you pour everything in and she walks away, she stays. His gaze locked on her. They never stay. Maya, you mentioned that before. Do you recall? Her gaze locked onto him, the silence thick with unspoken truths. Perhaps this time, we hold her back. The retreat pressed on. Teens created vibrant murals, prepared meals together, and revealed their stories in poignant snippets. Maya offered them room, never imposing, always welcoming. As dusk fell, the group huddled beneath the flickering lanterns that adorned the garden. Brielle lingered in the shadows, arms crossed, head bowed, a storm brewing within. As Maya shared her tale of nights spent in unfamiliar places, of being deemed too much or too angry for love, Brielle moved in closer. You talk too much, she whispered, her voice laced with frustration. Maya's smile flickered like a spark, igniting a warmth within. I've heard that too, Brielle whispered. Once, I captured the essence of birds on paper. Once upon a time. Maya looked at her. Back when everything was right. There's still a chance. In the darkness, Brielle's knock echoed softly against Maya's door. I can't go back, she whispered, her voice trembling. To the group home, or anywhere at all. This location, it feels real. Maya advanced, her hand resting gently on her shoulder. Then don't go. Brielle nodded, wiping her eyes with her hoodie sleeve. Let's find a way to make this home. As she turned to leave, Maya whispered, You're not too much. You're perfect as you are. We see you. That was everything Brielle craved. Healing often arrived quietly, without fanfare or grand revelations. At times, it arrived in hushed vows breathed through ajar doors. A headline flickered in the corner of a local online paper, sending a chill racing down Maya's spine. Local Millionaire's foster program faces intense scrutiny, claims of inadequate staffing, glaring gaps in oversight. The article lacked specifics, yet overflowed with suggestion. Unseen voices, worries expressed, vulnerable youth in peril. It portrayed the Hawthorne-Williams Center as a misguided endeavor, implying that Maya lacked the necessary credentials and insinuating that Edward leveraged his fortune to evade rules. Edward seethed with rage. Maya stood still, her silence heavy with unspoken words. She pored over the article repeatedly, her fingers clutching the tablet with such intensity that the screen dimmed under the strain. This is a smear job, Edward hissed, fury radiating from him. We're being targeted, and it's getting dangerous. Maya whispered, someone who sees our progress. Joseph called the very next day. Maya, the agency is calling me. They want to know if certified trauma counselors are involved in your operations. If your background checks are up to date, this isn't mere chatter. It's evolving into a serious inquiry. Maya shut her eyes tight. How devastating. It's already troubling that they're considering removing kids from the center. Even Brielle. It struck deeper than she had anticipated. No, she declared, resolute. They won't have her. Her trust is just starting to bloom. Joseph let out a heavy breath. Maya, you must battle this, yet softly. Keep it private. Don't escalate the situation. Fortify your barriers. Swift. She ended the call and rushed to Edward. They're coming for us, she whispered. If we don't act now, they'll strip us of the kids, the funding, everything we hold dear. Edward leaned in, anticipation crackling in the air. Outside consultants will be brought in, inspectors. Monroe will meticulously examine each policy. But Maya, this is an assassination. It's personal. Someone who understands us, Maya whispered, understands the framework, the rhythm. Edward's jaw tightened. Do you believe it's the Hollingsworths? No, Maya replied, her voice firm. They would never remain silent like this. This feels intimate. Later that night, rain pounded the windows as Maya sat alone in the center's office, sifting through personnel files, searching for a crack, a flaw, something overlooked. In that moment, her gaze locked onto it. Brielle's intake form. One signature was slightly off. The social worker listed wasn't the one Joseph had assigned. The paper emerged from an old printer, a relic from an agency long forgotten, untouched for over a year. Maya's heart sank. The paperwork had been forged. Without hesitation, she called Joseph. This might sound insane, but I suspect someone has messed with Brielle's file. Joseph accessed the records with urgency. No, this isn't our file. What is the origin of this? I don't know, Maya said, her voice strained. Yet, it was someone who planted it. Joseph paused, lost in thought. It's time to take the lead on this. The following morning, Maya summoned an emergency board meeting. Angela, Lionel, Joseph, and Edward gathered at the long table, the air heavy with unspoken words. She placed the forged document on the table, a silent weight of deception lingering in the air. Text. This is the weapon they're using against us, she said, and we must disarm it. Angela scowled. This matters deeply. A forged placement found in an audit could lead to our shutdown for negligence, regardless of our ignorance. Joseph reclined, a wave of frustration washing over him. A hidden surprise awaits. They've set their sights on Brielle. knowing she's the simplest to undermine. If they assert we let her down, they can dismantle the whole center. Edward rose. We deny them the opportunity. We approach the press first. We will share our tale. Lionel's eyebrow arched, a silent question hanging in the air. Are you looking to promote a counterfeit? That's dangerous. Maya shook her head, disbelief etched across her face. The truth, beyond the forgery, we reveal the essence of Brielle, her reason for being here. What she has turned into. Angela's gaze pierced through the silence. She would become the eye of a raging media tempest. Maya decided to approach her first. She holds the power to decide. That evening, Maya discovered Brielle in the art room, pouring her soul into a massive canvas. A bird breaking free from tangled ropes. May I speak with you? Maya inquired. Brielle continued to paint, lost in her world. They want to send me back, don't they? Absolutely. Brielle pressed on. Relentless. Are you really going to allow this? Maya moved in, heart racing. We won't go down easily. We need you by our side. She laid out the situation with precision, truly. I won't force you into the limelight unless you agree. It was done. Brielle paused, brush in hand, heart racing. You once said I wasn't too much. I was exactly right. Maya's head dipped in agreement. Let's reveal my true self, Brielle declared. Let them witness me. The following day, Maya faced a throng of reporters, Edward at her side, Joseph and Angela lingering behind, while Brielle Brave stood boldly before the microphones. I'm Kayla Martinez. I'm just 18. In just 4 years, I've been through 10 foster homes. They say I'm unfixable, volatile, dangerous. Yet, in this moment, I was seen. Someone remained. And I began to believe I could matter once more. Her voice remained steady. I refuse to be reduced to a mere statistic. I exist for a reason. I'm a girl who paints birds, having forgotten how to fly. But now I'm rediscovering the sky. Maya stood tall, a fierce pride radiating from her. Flashes of light erupted. Questions surged forth. But everything had changed. Buried truth has a haunting way of surfacing. And this time, it soared. The aftermath wasn't as catastrophic as Maya dreaded. Yet it was unyielding. For 3 relentless days, the media lay in wait at the estate's gates. Questions pierced the air as reporters shouted. They lingered, cameras ready, yearning for a glimpse of the girl who dared to unveil the untold truth. Brielle stood her ground. She only became more powerful. The center unveiled her artwork, a powerful testament to resilience. Her bird paintings soared through social media, embodying hope and renewal. Her voice at the press conference resonated, breaking barriers and capturing the attention of state-level organizations. Emails flooded in from survivors, supporters, skeptics, and believers. Yet, kindness was not universal. A faceless blogger revealed Brielle's past mistakes. Maya, a fraud with good intentions, a national columnist questioned Edward's choice, stating that charity cannot substitute for training when it comes to shaping children's futures through empathy alone. Maya took it all in, wordlessly. Then, one fateful morning, a letter came, written by hand, devoid of a return address. Inside was a single line, "You saved my daughter when I couldn't, thank you." Unsigned, yet it spoke volumes. At breakfast, the boys erupted in laughter over their cereal, passionately debating the merits of orange juice in pancakes. Maya poured her coffee, a smile breaking through as she thought, this is worth it, even the flames. Edward folded the newspaper, his gaze locking onto hers with an intensity that spoke volumes. You're staying strong. I must, she insisted. It's not only for them, he insisted. For you, she paused, then agreed. Same here. On that day, a staff meeting unfolded. Each guide, each supporter, each selfless soul. Maya stood at the front of the room, her heart heavy with the burden of the past weeks. I can't act like this hasn't rattled us, she said. Yet, I refuse to express regret for our purpose. This center wasn't built for appearances. We created this to ensure no child slips away unnoticed. We chose to be the safety net for them. Silence enveloped the room. Then Angela stood, resolute. We're with you. One by one, the team nodded, whispers of agreement filling the air. Always, yes, we stay. That night, Maya wandered the empty halls of the center, solitude wrapping around her like a shroud. Drawings adorned the walls, whispers of the kids' voices captured in quotes, and snapshots of family dinners frozen in time. She froze at the sight of Lucas and Noah, arms wrapped around Brielle, their laughter echoing in the air. Home, frozen in time. In the East Wing, she discovered Brielle immersed in her work, a city skyline emerging, its windows shimmering with golden light. Maya whispered softly, "You're still here." Brielle shrugged, her hands brushing against the rag. A fleeting moment of indifference masking deeper turmoil. "Sleep eludes me. Are you all right?" Brielle hesitated. "I'm lost in thought about what comes next. They see me on screen and assume I'm okay. But inside, anger still bubbles up unexpectedly. Trust doesn't come easily for me. I remain." Her voice faded away. Maya lingered next to her. Freedom doesn't require completion. Silence enveloped them. Silence envelops, pierced only by the soft whisper of crickets in the distance. Then Brielle asked, "Do you think I could ever, I don't know, speak at schools? Connect with other kids who understand me?" Maya beamed. "You've just done it. Absolutely. You have what it takes." Brielle's smile sparkled with mischief. A fleeting spark of pride hidden behind her shielded facade. "I want to do that. I long to become the person I once craved for." The following morning, a call arrived from a representative of the state's Child Welfare Committee. The voice revealed, "We've been examining the Hawthorne-Williams model. It's unexpected, yet it's proving effective. We want to connect and explore the possibility of spreading it further." Maya remained motionless. "So, you want to grow? We want to learn?" the voice replied. "Ugh." After she hung up, she gazed out the window, lost in a whirlwind of thoughts. It loomed over her, an overwhelming force. That week, Maya, Edward, and Brielle gathered with the boys beneath the oak tree. The scent of cinnamon mingled with the crispness of dry leaves. Lucas read from the children's book, his voice weaving through the words, stopping now and then for Noah to spin his own tales of what could be. Brielle absorbed every word, a subtle smile playing on her lips. Text Noah suddenly declared, "I want to write a book someday about kids battling villains." Maya tousled his hair. A fleeting moment filled with warmth. "Begin with the truth. It's the most compelling tale." Edward reclined against the trunk, his fingers grazing Maya's softly. She stayed put. The sun sank, spilling gold through the branches. Each one was unique. Shattered, pieced back, woven with collective sorrow and renewed dreams. They were complete, not by removing the flaws, but by filling them with gold, beauty and brokenness. Maya had once read about the Japanese art of mending broken pottery with gold lacquer, a celebration of history rather than a concealment of flaws. That was their purpose. Perhaps, in the end, that was the essence of healing. A decision that weighs heavy. Each day, to remain, Maya stared, confusion washing over her as she tried to place the man before her. He loomed, thin and awkward in a worn tan blazer, lingering by the East Harlem Youth Center's front desk, caught between belonging and the urge to escape. His face, hidden beneath a baseball cap, revealed a posture that was both anxious and hauntingly familiar, awakening a long-buried feeling in her heart. It was Angela who beckoned Maya closer. "He claims he's come to talk to you." No name was given. Maya moved forward, heart racing. "How can I assist you?" The man gazed upward, and in an instant, 2 decades crumbled away. "Maya," he murmured, voice worn and hesitant, "it's me, your father." Time froze. She first felt a rush of blood in her ears, a thrum of disbelief, followed by a chilling stillness in her chest. "You don't get to say my name," she whispered. her voice heavy with emotion. I get it, he said hastily, removing his cap. His hair had turned gray, and his eyes were bloodshot. I never meant to be here. But after seeing the press conference, after seeing you, I had to come. Maya. She was paralyzed, surrounded by the bustle of life. Children's laughter echoed from the playroom, while a counselor's voice pierced the air, guiding a trust-building exercise. The world continued its relentless spin. Yet within her, a fracture formed. Edward stepped in, an unsettling feeling gripping him. His eyes darted back and forth between them. Is this man bothering you? He asked. Maya's gaze remained locked on her father. Yes. I don't know. I'll give you space, Edward said softly, yet he lingered close. I'm not here to destroy anything, her father declared. I don't need anything, not a dime. I just wanted to know if you were all right. Maya exhaled, a breath both measured and piercing. You walked away when I was just 10, when Mom shattered, when our world crumbled. I was unwell, Maya, he murmured, consumed, adrift. I couldn't find a way to remain. That's no excuse, she declared. It's undeniable, yet it doesn't change the past, nor the void left behind. He nodded, shame wrapping tightly around him. Your absence is deeply felt. Actually, you gave it up, she clarified. They stood in silence, and then he revealed a photo from his coat pocket, worn and weathered. A shadow of its former self. A girl in overalls, braids bouncing, scraped knees telling stories, clutching a sketchbook, eyes narrowed against the blazing sun. You left this on the porch the day I drove away, he said, his voice heavy with unspoken words. I held on to it. It was my sole refuge. Maya's throat constricted. A fleeting summer day, captured by a neighbor, now a distant memory. She had buried it deep. But now, it hit her like a blow to the gut. I'm trying to be clean, he said. Been sober for 2 years. Working at a garage outside Baton Rouge. I seek guidance. I attend gatherings. Maya folded her arms tightly. And what? You seek absolution? He gazed at her, his eyes shimmering with unshed tears. Grace is the one I desire. The word struck a chord. Grace was a gift, unbartered and unearned. It was a gift, given with abandon, or not at all. I can't promise that, she whispered. He nodded, a silent agreement hanging heavy in the air. I get it, but I swear, I won't hate you anymore, she added. That's intense. A single tear traced a path down his cheek. That's it. Maya kept her silence from the boys that night. She kept it from Brielle, Edward, and even Lorraine. She required a moment to tuck it away, like a delicate paper you're hesitant to open but can't bear to discard. She prepared dinner, assisted Noah with his math homework, and read 2 thrilling chapters of their favorite mystery novel to Lucas. In the stillness of the house, she found herself in the sunroom with Edward. He arrived, she whispered. Edward's gaze lifted. Is he your father? Her head dipped in agreement. It felt like confronting a specter of my past, one I had resented for ages, only to realize the haunting never truly faded. Is he someone you truly want around? I don't know, she admitted, her voice trembling, but I just wanted him to notice me. That's all. Edward grasped her hand, a silent promise hanging in the air. You're seen, he stated, his voice steady. She leaned her head on his shoulder, and at last, the quaking in her heart started to fade. 2 days later, Brielle stormed into the office, clutching a flyer tightly. She radiated joy, my first speaking invite. In Atlanta, a youth panel awaits my thoughts on trust and art. Maya's smile was electric. Incredible. When will it happen? In just a month. But I require a guardian. Maya arched an eyebrow. Are you really asking me? Brielle's lips curled into a sly smile. Please don't let me indulge in 3 gas station burritos back to back. Maya remarked. Flawed logic, yet oddly flattering. Then Brielle's demeanor shifted. My heart races. That's good, Maya said. Your concern is evident. Brielle's gaze held a flicker of hope, one that Maya recognized all too intimately. Thank you for being there, even when I was lost in the shadows. Maya's fingers brushed against her shoulder. That's the essence of light. It discovers the flaws and slips through regardless. In that instant, Maya grasped a profound truth. Healing often intertwined with remembrance. It was about weaving the shattered pieces into a tapestry of strength and authenticity. It was about releasing the unchangeable and clinging tightly to the possible. It was about transforming into someone capable of forgiveness, not to justify what was done, but to liberate what lies ahead. And it signified, at last, rising proudly in your own identity. Sophia Carter, mother, mentor, healer, finally free from the shadows. Half a year had slipped by since the chaos of the hearing. The estate's gardens overflowed with vibrant late spring blooms, while the center thrummed with excitement over its new program calendar. It wasn't flawless, but it was alive with energy. Mia, the center's youngest counselor, began her weekly sessions with Brielle. Lucas soared to a new grade, conquering spelling with ease. Noah resolved to create his own superhero team, capes and all. And Maya, she observed their growth, a gardener nurturing hope with every tender shoot. The morning broke, radiant and pure. Edward gathered the board and staff for an intimate celebration beneath the oak tree. A banner crafted by the twins proclaimed, 1 year of staying. Maya rushed in, her hands busy fluffing blankets and setting out lemonade glasses, anticipation crackling in the air. She paused by the banner, recalling the initial, uncertain attempt. Now it felt like home, a deep sense of belonging. Every guest had arrived. Angela, Joseph, Lionel, Lorraine, and local agency staff occupied chairs strewn across the lawn. Children gathered in a circle, their paper lanterns spinning softly in the air. Edward started. In naming this center, we united two unlikely forces, wealth and empathy. Yet, the true miracle lies beyond the programs and the funding. It's survival. It's the decision made in silence, unseen by the world. Lorraine rose. Surprising yet resolute, my daughter revealed lessons I never thought to share. I'm grateful to be present, not just watching, but evolving alongside this journey. Lucas and Noah pressed on, clutching their gold-painted rocks tightly. They laid them at Maya's feet. This rock is gold, Lucas declared, his voice ringing out. Because it's brave, Noah whispered, adding weight to the words. This is pure gold. It lingers. Maya swallowed hard, tears brimming in her throat. Edward stood beside her, fingers intertwined, as the twins unveiled their gifts. Joseph cleared his throat and announced, We've reviewed our 6-month outcomes. Schools see more kids showing up, less trouble, and, above all, children learning to trust once more. Angela stepped forward, her voice steady. We're expanding. Just 2 more sites. With Maya leading the way, Lionel lifted his glass high. Cheers to the woman who never sought a place in a family. She forged ahead and created one regardless. Maya's eyes widened as she clutched Edward's hand tightly. He tightened his grip on hers. Amidst the swirling crowd, Brielle stepped toward Maya, clutching her sketchbook tightly. A new drawing revealed itself. 4 golden trees, each unique, leaning inward as if supporting something far more significant together. Underneath her handwriting, this is the essence of growth. Maya pressed her lips to her cheek, whispering, Yes, baby, exactly. The late afternoon sun stretched shadows, the crowd dwindling to whispers. The twins dashed away, laughter echoing as they played tag. Lorraine stood close to Maya beneath the oak, the air thick with unspoken words. I'm proud, Lorraine whispered, her eyes fixed on the stone towers the twins had crafted. Maya nodded. Proud is not the same as forgiven. But you're here. Lorraine reached for her hand. I want to keep showing up. Maya. The tart. She leaned in, her head finding solace on Lorraine's shoulder. Edward discovered them and wrapped his arm around the 2 women. Let's create something beautiful together. A new flower bed, perhaps roses. Maya's lips curled into a smile. We must vow to nurture it weekly. His laughter echoed. Agreed. That evening, Europa Edwards' butler served them all fresh lemonade refills. Children's laughter echoed, a fleeting joy that tugged at the heart. As dusk enveloped the estate, the delicate aroma of jasmine lingered in the air. Once the headlights faded from the driveway and silence enveloped the center, Edward discovered Maya in the sunroom, sketching fresh guidelines with Lucas. Titled Community Rules Now: Faith, Compassion, Courage, Awareness. He shut the door quietly. Will you be my forever? Her gaze lifted, disbelief etched on her face. Not for what it was, but for how he whispered it now, tenderly, as if it were not a proposal at all. A vow unbroken. Silence hung in the air. With a heavy heart, she shut her sketchbook and held it close, as if it contained her very soul. Then she whispered, "Yes, but only if you understand, I'm far from perfect." He gently swept her hair aside, revealing her eyes. "Neither am I, yet our growth together is undeniable." The wind whispered through the oak, a silent nod of ancient approval. Healing transformed into inheritance, family forged not by blood, but by countless small acts, each one a thread of gold. In that instant, Sophia Carter experienced the paradox of being both anchored and airborne. Spring burst forth as the Hawthorne-Williams Center unveiled its second location in Queens. The unveiling ceremony was hushed, filled with intent. Children from the center in Westchester stood beside Maya and Edward, clutching their painted signs. "Hope grows here. Second chances live." 2. Neighbors lined the sidewalk, cameras flashed softly, and bees buzzed around newly planted daisies in recycled tins. Maya faced the small crowd, sunlight igniting the gold in her hair. Centuries of expectations weighed on her, an unyielding belief in her failure, a haunting reminder that her past could dictate her future. Here she stood, amidst those who had seen her struggle for acceptance and emerged victorious. Edward stood close, his arm wrapped tightly around her waist. He nodded as she started. "We launched this center because we believed in the power of staying. Today, we declare that healing should soar, embracing not just permanence but the promise of possibility." Children outside erupted in cheers, their hands waving with joy. Media crews captured the scene from the street, but Edward's eyes were fixed on the families behind them, drawn there by a desire to witness something genuine. After greeting dignitaries and answering questions from the press, Maya slipped behind the building, where volunteers hung fresh banners and set up craft stations. Lorraine stepped forward, a tray of lemon squares and bottled water in hand. With a gentle smile, she offered Maya one, leaving space for unspoken words. "So good," Maya exclaimed, her mouth full. Lorraine's laughter was a gentle whisper, yet it held a world of emotion. Pure. Just like this place. Maya hesitated, then inquired, "Do you wish to stroll through the gardens?" They walked along a path adorned with blooming roses and delicate saplings. Lorraine stood still, her gaze fixed on the sapling dedicated to Lucas and Noah. The leaves danced in a breeze, carrying the scent of pollen and untold potential. "I planted this," Maya said, "so that anyone who feels alone can find strength to grow, even in tough times." Lorraine's fingers brushed against the delicate branch. "Your roots run deep." That afternoon, in the community room, staff assembled for the inaugural training session at the new site. Angela stood at the front, her warmth enveloping them. Brielle sketched program plans, her focus intense, as Joseph meticulously organized the supplies. Tables brimmed with locals, eyes wide with curiosity and hearts full of hope. Edward crept in silently, his voice barely a breath. "You've transformed countless lives." Her smile pierced through the silence, igniting a spark between them. The journey has only begun. Maya and Brielle strolled through the incomplete wing, where therapy rooms awaited beneath the watchful skylights. Brielle lingered at the window, eyes fixed on the road below. "So many roads await," she whispered. "I once believed that none of them would take me back home." Maya's eyes locked onto hers, Home transcends mere walls. It's the creation forged in unity. Brielle's head dipped in agreement. Then I will create it. That evening, Edward gathered the core team, along with their children, for a simple yet enchanting dinner beneath a canopy of twinkling lights in the main courtyard. Roasted vegetables, herb-roasted chicken, rice pilaf, and a vibrant bowl of sliced strawberries adorned the table. With a courteous nod, Lucas extended the bread basket, his gratitude palpable in the air. Noah demonstrated the art of folding napkins into airplane shapes for a volunteer. Brielle clutched her sketch pad, but when it was time, she dove into the storytelling, her dramatic retelling of a school science fail igniting laughter all around. Edward lifted his glass of lemonade, a spark of anticipation in his eyes. To staying, to building, to making roots deeper than fear, Maya raised her glass high. With wings spread wide, they raised their glasses, bound by effort, empathy, and unwavering trust. As the last guests drifted away, Edward grasped Maya's hand, guiding her into the embrace of the garden beds. Fireflies started to emerge, their glow flickering in the twilight. He knelt, pressed a fingertip into the earth, and unearthed a slender rose root. He placed it next to the existing sapling, their stems entwined at the base. "This is our promise," he whispered, his voice heavy with emotion. Maya knelt beside him, her hands steady, focused on the task at hand. He nodded, a silent agreement hanging in the air. Each week, despite the struggle, Maya wore a smile, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. Each week, Lucas and Noah emerged with a flashlight, ready for adventure. They crept silently, positioning themselves close, illuminating the fresh root with their light. "Mom," Lucas breathed, "that's amazing." Edward's gaze shifted between them and Maya. "Thank you," he said, his voice low but unmistakable. That night, in the guest room, Maya lingered at the doorframe of the twins' bedroom. She observed Edward gently tucking Noah in. She watched as he tenderly brushed Lucas's hair aside, then extinguished the light. She entered the hallway, pressing her back against the wall. Edward suddenly stood next to her. "Are you going to stay?" She peered into the shadowy entrance. "I will always be here." He nodded, a silent agreement hanging heavy in the air. Her head rested softly on his shoulder. Light seeped through the tinted glass, a soft glow from the nursery lamp. The final whispers of dusk brushing against the curtains. The new rose root lay in the soil, while the sapling lingered above, poised and expectant, grounded, expanding, united. A letter sparked it all, written, unknown, sent from a quaint town in upstate New York. A plain white envelope, addressed to Jonathan Mercer in stark black ink, arrived. 5 chilling words, no return address, no signature, just a haunting presence on the page. "She's a mystery waiting to unfold." Edward read it twice, then folded it with care and tucked it into his jacket pocket. He remained silent with Maya, night after night. Yet a subtle change in his demeanor stirred something within her. With her acute awareness of tension, she sensed the disturbance beneath the surface calm. Shadows had trailed them before, but this time it felt intentional, sharply focused. The following morning, Maya watched over the younger kids in the art room, while Edward sat isolated in his office, fixated on his laptop screen. A name reverberated in his thoughts. Gregory Shaw. A once trusted ally, a man consumed by envy for Edward's success, his resentment deepened by Edward's shift toward charity. He had issued subtle threats in the past, largely hollow. Yet this was laced with poison. Edward launched a secure browser, his heart racing as he delved deeper. In mere moments, he stumbled upon a blog post buried deep in an obscure forum. It skirted the edges of Maya's world, lingering in the shadows. Terms like crafted narratives and emotional appeal drew his attention. He vanished from view. The harm was irreversible. He gazed through the window. Maya strolled through the garden, her hand gently resting on Brielle's shoulder. They shared a laugh, oblivious to the truth lurking beneath. His fist tightened. That night, during dinner, he inquired, "Did you ever have another name?" Maya's eyes fluttered. "What is happening?" prior to Sophia Carter, by law or in any other way. She dropped her fork. What makes you ask me that? He paused, uncertainty gripping him. A letter arrived. It hinted that you may be holding back. Maya rose, her movements deliberate and heavy with unspoken weight. Do you believe it? Edward gazed upward. His face was a battlefield of doubt. I believe in you, truly. But I had to ask. Her voice, soft yet unwavering, held a profound strength. I was Maya Simmons until I turned 18. I chose my grandmother's surname, Williams, as my mother was absent, and my father had lost the privilege to name me. Edward nodded, a wave of shame washing over him. I apologize. Maya pressed on, unashamed of her past, but fury ignited within her at the thought of someone trying to turn it against her. Eventually, she discovered Brielle in the forgotten art room. With a swift motion, she passed her the letter. Brielle absorbed every word, a heart racing in fear. What do you mean? Maya inquired. Of what we've created. The following day, a news story broke. Nearby. Brief. A voice dissecting the nuances of background checks and the weight of donor scrutiny. Maya's face lit up the screen. Whispers of a hidden assent. A protector for the lost souls of the young. Maya switched off the television. She stood resolute. Yet, she lay awake once more through the night. Edward's fingers brushed against her hand in the dim light of the room. I'll reach out to the lawyers. We've got this. Her head dipped in agreement. We always anticipated this moment. It's just not right, Count. Yet, it feels known. 3 days later, Maya faced the entire staff. No cameras allowed. This was everything. I refuse to waste my energy proving my value, she declared. I will guard this place fiercely. If they seek me out, so be it. They can't destroy what we've created. Angela rose. We'll take care of the press. You take charge of the mission. Joseph's hand shot up. Security will be doubled. Brielle approached and thrust a photo into Maya's hands. A mere sketch, yet it captivates deeply. Maya stood in a dark hallway, a lantern flickering in her grasp, as small hands reached out from the shadows. Just keep walking, Brielle urged. We're here, just a breath away. That night, Maya wandered the empty halls of the original center. Engulfed in solitude. She paused at every door, haunted by memories of the children, the turmoil, the victories, her deepest fears. She arrived at the front steps just as Edward's car came to a stop. He emerged, clutching a folder tightly. Checks that reveal hidden truths, ancient echoes, all that you've ever shared. It's pristine. Ugh. Her eyebrow arched in silent challenge. Did you really doubt that? He shook his head. A silent storm brewing within. I had to show the world what I always believed. She moved closer to him. What do you truly know, Jonathan Mercer? Your past empowers you. It doesn't threaten you. They lingered on the porch, words unspoken. The banner at the entrance fluttered in the wind. Hope resides within these walls. Maya stared at it, her heart racing. Then at Edward. A moment hangs heavy with unspoken words. Let's show them the reason. The center's lights shone into the night, a beacon of hope. Steadfast. Bold and unyielding. In that instant, Maya grasped it all. Storms can also bring unexpected change. At times, they pave the way for an even greater force. Winter's first snow blanketed the Hawthorne estate, cloaking the branches and silencing the world. The white veil reshaped known trails into new masterpieces. Maya peered from her upstairs window, a steaming mug cradled in her hands, absorbing the stillness around her. In the stillness of the night, she found solace. The recent smear campaign silenced official inquiries, revealed no misconduct. Donors stood firm in their support, and local media shifted from doubt to praise. Something unresolved flickered beneath the festive lights draped around the oak tree. Chilling winds whispered of past dangers. Maya questioned if peace was something to be earned, or just a fleeting gift of the season. She stepped down the stairs, discovering Edward in the living room, surrounded by holiday cards waiting to be unpacked. Framed photographs adorned the mantel. Laughter lost to migraines, art walls bursting, children in capes. Every reminder echoed the battles they had faced through the tempests. He glanced up, hoping you could assist with sealing the envelopes. Maya's smile flickered as she nestled beside him. He presented her with a card from Lucas and Noah's stick-figure parents. 3 trees marked with hope, 2 suns shining bright, and 2 joyful scribbles declaring, "We love you." Maya felt a powerful surge behind her chest, stronger and more determined than before. She inhaled sharply. Edward's fingers grazed her hand across the coffee table, igniting a spark. "How are you, truly?" Maya's gaze fixed on the card. Doubt's edges danced around her. Yet, the past had imparted this lesson to her. Embracing scars transformed them into symbols of strength, not vulnerability. "I've been pondering," she whispered. The letter, the storms raging within. Edward's nod was subtle, yet it carried a weight of unspoken emotion. Maya pressed on. "I may choose to keep the record intact. I need to make my mark." His eyes flicked to her, a spark of intrigue igniting within him. "Let's carve out a space in the center," she urged. "A gallery that embraces not only joy but also the darkness, the scars, the fight for survival." As individuals shared their triumphs, Edward's eyebrow arched in intrigue. "Is it a sanctuary of strength?" Maya's eyes sparkled with intensity. "Indeed, not concealed, but celebrated." He nodded, a silent agreement hanging heavy in the air. "I can cover that. Let's create it as a team." Maya spent the week with Brielle and community volunteers, collecting fragments, drawings, notes, and artworks from teens who had once walked in Brielle's shoes. A masked figure, cracks of gold seeping from within, captured in a single painting. A poem, raw and crumpled, whispered secrets of the heart. "I discovered how to rise once more, even when I believed that standing was wrong." On opening day, a wing in the Westchester Center was cleared. Volunteers draped the displays amidst the glow of warm string lights. Gentle melodies filled the air. Naomi, a former foster teen, revealed her essay, "My Left Arm is My Story." Families, staff, champions, and local press gathered. The room shimmered in quiet awe. Edward moved closer, ready to share his thoughts. He declared, "This space proclaims that trauma will never silence us. It will bear witness. Wounds, once voiced, transform into pathways, liberating rather than confining." The twins were urged to share their voices. They exchanged hesitant glances. Noah moved ahead. He held a small container and said, "We drew these stones." Lucas added, "They were golden within, yet fractured, so we coated them in gold once more." Maya nodded, her voice heavy with emotion. "Kintsugi reveals beauty in brokenness. It honors the fractures. It shows us that broken still holds value. It's a masterpiece." Applause surged, electrifying the atmosphere. Maya discovered Brielle at the window, lost in thought. She seemed tiny, yet her courage shone brighter than ever. "I need to share a piece of myself," Brielle whispered. "A diary, from the moment I arrived." Maya wrapped her arms around her tightly. "Thanks." Close by, Lorraine and Edward clasped hands tightly. Maya slipped in, a whisper of tension hanging in the air. Lorraine gently swept a snowflake from Maya's hair. "It's stunning." Maya's smile flickered like a spark in the dark. "It reveals the truth," Edward insisted. "Your fearlessness in facing the truth is remarkable." That evening, the family gathered around the dinner table, laughter mingling with the scent of burnt gingerbread and the thrill of board games. Edward darted after Noah, the beam of the flashlight slicing through the darkness around the oak tree. Lucas's voice cut through the silence, bringing to life the tension of Brigadier Joliffe sharing coffee with Miss Marple. Maya observed them, the boy who wept at midnight, the boy who turned away from peas, carrying the burden of changing seasons within him. She had braved tempests, doubted her place, confronted blame, yet here it stood, a testament to her shattered hands and heart, imperfect, yet authentic. Once the boys drifted off, Edward sought Maya again by the flickering flames. He pushed an envelope across the coffee table. A tiny slip of paper lay inside. "Join us. Keynote at the state's Trauma-Informed Youth Conference. Kayla Martinez." Maya's gaze darted to the vacant chair next to her. She understood the implications. Edward asked softly, "Will you share the stage with her?" She hesitated, reflecting on tempests and illumination, arriving and lingering. She glanced at him and gave a slight nod. "Absolutely," he smiled, a rush of warmth spiraling through his chest. They drew closer, hearts racing. Snow fell softly outside the window, a relentless whisper of winter's embrace. The fire crackled within, sending shivers through Maya's very core. Healing meant embracing the storms, not erasing them. It began anew, bathed in gold. Spring blossomed in Connecticut, a promise teetering on the brink of beauty. In Albany, the atmosphere crackled with energy at the state's Trauma-Informed Youth Conference. Officials, social workers, counselors, teachers, and youth from all corners of the state came together to witness tales of both pain and profound change. Maya and Brielle perched together on a humble wooden stage, surrounded by folding chairs and piercing lights. A massive screen loomed behind them, showcasing a golden bird soaring from the confines of shadowed bars, a mural Brielle had created months ago. The audience leaned in as they settled into their seats. Edward and Lucas occupied the front row, Lucas gripping his fresh sketchbook, its pages revealing a drawing of 4 figures intertwined beneath a radiant sunrise. The moderator brought them forth: Sophia Carter, co-founder of the Hawthorne Williams Center, and Kayla Martinez, a survivor of foster care, a tale of strength, devotion, and the profound impact of recognition. They started with Brielle's first days at the center, her skepticism, her rejection of help. Maya, perched quietly, watched with tear-filled eyes. Several other teens acknowledged with a knowing nod. Then Brielle seized control. Her voice quivered initially. "I once believed my voice was the thunder that heralded the storm, perilous, forever overwhelming or consumed by rage. And then one day, they stood still. They never labeled me as unpredictable. They simply listened." Maya added, "Healing unfolds in quiet moments, away from the spotlight." In the quiet pauses, one remained steadfast against the raging tempest. They exchanged words for 20 intense minutes. Questions emerged. How can we guide those who have faced trauma? How can we harmonize order with compassion? What accountability ensures our mission remains true? Maya replied, "We often prioritize emotional authenticity over formal qualifications, not because degrees lack importance, but because genuine truth often emerges from the scars that individuals bravely choose to reveal." It was over. Our model transcends mere programming. It weighs heavily on me. To arrive unexpectedly, to remain present, despite the discomfort, to empower young people to transform their narratives, not to erase them. The room hushed, then applause erupted, building steadily until it thundered through the ceiling beams. In the shadows, Edward embraced Brielle tightly before facing Maya. "You were in charge of that." "I just took the leap." She simply shook her head. "You created the void. That's how we can take charge." At the reception, Brielle engaged with students, passionately addressing their inquiries about art and healing. Maya observed from a distance, her heart swelling with pride and tranquility. Memories of their first encounter flooded her mind. She felt uncertain, guarded, and angry. Yet she realized how much she had grown from it all. Edward stepped forward, a glass of iced tea in hand. "Tonight, you helped someone take to the skies." Maya's lips curled into a sly smile. She learned on her own. "I just offered her space." His smile was warm as he tightened his grip on her hand. As the crowd dwindled, a woman from the audience stepped forward. Dr. Rachel Stein, a professor at Yale School of Social Work, captivates with her insights. "Your tale is extraordinary. We want to collaborate and bring your Hall of Resilience to our campus, empowering our students." Joseph and Angela stepped in beside her. They shared a thrilling glance. This was not just growth on paper. It was a powerful reinforcement of their core beliefs. Their tiny hub pulsed with energy that transcended its boundaries. As Edward drove, twilight painted the highway in deep hues. Lucas slept soundly in the back seat. He drifted into slumber the moment they exited the hall. Noah lay beside him, the sketchbook open on the seat, a half-finished drawing shimmering with potential. Edward's eyes flickered to Maya. Transform the world? She rested her head on the seat, lost in thought. When countless quiet voices unite, absolutely. Edward's hand lingered softly on hers. Home at last, Europa stood waiting at the door. The house shimmered gently in the dimming twilight. Snow melted away, revealing fresh crocuses bravely pushing through the damp earth. In the quiet of the night, the twins lay nestled in their room, wrapped in the warmth of quilts crafted with love by Brielle. Maya lingered at the threshold. In the quiet of night, their routine unfolded in hushed tones, cradled by dreams. She entered silently, her hand brushing softly against Lucas's head. As Edward smoothed Noah's blanket, he pressed a gentle kiss to his forehead. They paused, eyes locking in the hallway's silence. "We did this," Edward breathed, his voice trembling. "We just keep going," Maya replied. In the quiet dawn, birds perched on branches, filling the garden's edge with life. Within, healing sparked an endless dialogue, fueled by shared courage. As the door clicked shut, a wave of peace washed over Sophia Carter. For the first time in years, she surrendered to sleep. Not just to rest, but because she finally felt at home. Summer had reached its end, and with it, the Hawthorne Williams estate glimmered under a golden sun, gardens alive with buzzing bees, while the oak tree's leaves softly whispered above. Today was the second anniversary of Maya's first day, yet it resonated with a sense of belonging rather than mere reflection. In the sunroom, children arranged framed art on a long wooden bench, their laughter echoing in the air. Drawings, poems, clay figures, each marked with a name and the date of its healing. Below them rested the golden rocks, remnants of Lucas and Noah's past artistry. A striking new piece took the spotlight. Brielle's canvas of a bird breaking free from its bindings, titled Our Story in Song. Maya led the teens through the exhibit, their eyes wide with wonder. Upon reaching their pieces, each offered a brief yet powerful reflection. A young girl poured her heart into a poem, lost in darkness, until a quiet presence sat beside her. A boy revealed a drawing of shattered wings, accompanied by the words, "But I learned to float." Edward stood by the window, arms crossed, his gaze fixed outside. Lorraine stood beside him, eyes fixed on the scene, absorbing the essence of what had transformed into a mosaic of survival. Maya crept outside, heart racing, and discovered them beneath the oak tree. The twins raced after paper airplanes, laughter echoing in the air. Edward gestured to the bench, inviting her to sit. "See this?" he said, pointing at the art display. She met his eyes, and a surge of gratitude gripped her heart. "This is what we built," she whispered. "A sanctuary of truth," Lorraine added, her voice trembling. Maya grasped Lorraine's hand, her fingers tightening just enough to convey unspoken support. A small crowd gathered beneath the banner that proclaimed, "Healing lives through holding." Angela stepped forward, clipboard clutched tightly. "Exciting news. The new site in Albany is set to open this fall, and Yale has given the green light for the Hall of Resilience curriculum for student training." Maya's eyes fluttered. "Are you for real?" Angela radiated joy. "We're in the midst of scheduling, and schools statewide are eager to adopt your model." Edward moved ahead, signaling a need for additional mentoring staff. "Maya, would you take the lead on that?" She breathed out, her gaze locking onto the twins as they twirled nearer. "I want to," she replied, "but only if we stay true to our values, no shortcuts, no compromises." He nodded, a silent agreement hanging in the air. "Precisely." Lucas and Noah hesitated, then sprinted back. Lucas nestled into Maya's lap, holding on fiercely. Noah buried his head against her side. Lorraine observed them, a bittersweet smile breaking through her tears. You transformed it all. Maya gently placed her hand over Lucas's tiny head. They transformed me. Edward stood still, his heart racing. The fading light caressed the world gently. A car screeched to a halt at the drive. Jasmine Lee, once a foster youth, now an intern at the center, leaped out and sprinted over. 2 bicycles, bound with ribbons, hung from her grasp. "Gifts," she announced, "for you and Lucas, from the teens." Lucas leaped from Maya's lap, his eyes filled with wonder. Edward and Jasmine Lee struggled with the bikes, their frustration palpable as Noah's cheers echoed around them. With determination, Lucas grabbed the smaller pink bike, while Maya chose the vibrant yellow one. With gentle care, she placed him in his seat, securing the helmet snugly, before mounting her bike with determination. They glided cautiously along the estate's winding paths. Edward grasped Noah's hand tightly. Sunlight trickled through the leaves above, casting a shimmering glow that twirled like confetti in the air. Lorraine followed closely, shadowed by Brielle and Jasmine Lee. It was magnificent, mundane, holy. At the garden's edge, they paused, captivated by the roseroot and sapling, intertwined in their quiet strength. Gnarled bark, fresh limbs, poised buds on the verge of awakening. The twins leaped off and darted ahead, chasing after butterflies with wild abandon. Edward and Maya exchanged a glance that spoke volumes. "Do you believe the storms have passed?" he inquired. She held the moment close. "I'm unsure. Yet we've created something that even storms cannot erase." He pressed his lips to hers gently. "Whatever comes next, we stand prepared." They assisted with dinner afterward. Grilled fish, garden-fresh vegetables, warm bread just out of the oven. The table overflowed. Team, youth, loved ones, supporters. Excitement buzzed as ideas sparked. Fresh plans, summer delights, student workshops, and heartfelt holiday outreach. Lorraine raised her glass high. To endure. To establish foundations and take flight. Glasses clinked, a moment suspended in time. As twilight settled, the twins eagerly pulled Edward and Maya upstairs, revealing their enchanting fort blankets draped over chairs, fairy lights twinkling within, and books scattered on the floor. "Sometimes, they sleep out here," Lucas revealed. Maya sat down, observing the 2 boys who had once been empty with grief, now overflowing with joy. Edward breathed out. "Thank you." She pressed closer to him. "Appreciate your own strength." Outside the window, fireflies danced in a mesmerizing chaos, their beauty both random and enchanting. The fort pulsed with a warm, inviting glow. Maya shut her eyes, inhaling the essence of tranquility. This marked the close of one chapter, the dawn of all that was to come. Healing is a journey, never a destination. It endures, flawed, yet radiant. What about the light? It lingers. Forever.